big.
So, who will join me?
Dude! She's horrified.
About the Romans. Most of what they built here now lies in ruins, but there is another place, a great city.
She's all like...
It still stands to this day. It is a city called...
Oh my god, there's a free woman.
In a land called Francia.
How far is the city?
It lies on the other side of a narrow stretch of water.
Uh-huh.
Many here trade with the French.
She's a married woman, don't you remember?
We still drink their wine.
He's a free man as well. Uh-huh.
What is it?
It's the wine.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
He's king, he can do whatever he wants.
I'm sorry.
What for? You didn't do anything.
Nothing happened.
That's the point. I wanted something to happen between you and me. Right there in the water, in front of them. I didn't care. It was wrong of me. I'm married. I have a child. I'm a Christian.
Nothing happened and you've done no wrong.
I am tired. Understand?
Then go and sleep. And may the Lord in his mercy bless you and keep you. Judas.
Temptation is a very human thing, but she is married. She is. And the guy already doesn't trust these guys, so... Her husband, it's not a good idea to piss him off.
This is your fault, Ragnar. Thorsten has died fighting for a hill he did not want to own. For something which meant nothing to him. How many more of us must die for your Christians? Or have you, in your heart, already renounced our gods and turned to the Christ God? We're all fated to die on a certain day, yes? But it is our own choice to do as we please until that day comes. I did not force Thorsten, or any of you to come for that matter. You all chose to be here. Ragnar, you had better come and see your son.
It's easy to blame someone, yeah. It's his best friend who just died, so... But Ragnar has a point. He didn't force anyone to come.
Is she still alive? Yes. But her face. We didn't protect her. That is what the shield is for. We fight. That is how we win. And that is how we die. Do you understand? But she's with child.
We didn't know that. I agree. Yep.
You will probably die. With your child in her belly, and it will be your fault. Because you have the strength of a man, but the will of a little girl.
No.
I can't believe you, my son.
Knowing that Ragnar will do anything to protect his children, I can understand why he's pissed like that, because Bjorn
I agree, that made no
left her
sense.
fight when she was pregnant.
Because he lets her do whatever she pleases.
I did not mean to fight against you today. I am young. I was led by evil counselors. I beg your forgiveness, King Ragnar.
Yeah, you deserve that. And it's not the time.
Take responsible for your action. Take responsibility for your action, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was bewitched.
Nobody forced you to fight.
Our armies have defeated the Mercians.
You must stay. We are ready to sow the first crop.
And sacrifice to Frey to ensure its success.
We should stay. And take part.
I agree. We will stay for the sacrifice.
My lord.
I said, we will stay.
He's going through a similar thing than Ragnar right now. People, you know, are doubting his motives and what he's doing. It's almost like he's preparing to convert. Yeah. I think it's because she was not welcoming or anything.
How could you do?
Well, I mean, something like that happens, and right after he's there. If he wasn't in love with her before, I'm pretty sure he's gonna fall in love now.
Freya, Freya semmersgård skin Freya, het heten, het bloten dier het blad. Met blotsen, fight to a sight to hjärtan. Med a red drej, filter modern twin herren till o växter hjärtar. Tiden är över nu. Halt det nu!
Well, this could be really good or really bad for the future. It's intense, though. I love it. Jesus Christ! Yeah, if he wasn't in love with her before, I'm pretty sure he is now. She's being covered in blood and she's like...
Unless they renounce their false gods and heathen ways, we should not allow them to stay any longer.
Oh, gosh. It's their way of blessing. Like when you throw holy water, I guess?
A stranger has come to Kattegat. His name is Harvard. He takes away Ivar's pain, and the boy goes back to sleep.
If he possesses powers, then he is putting them to good use.
2 young boys died today. A fisherman caught them in his nets.
Yes, I know.
Might he not be connected to the deaths of these boys?
Why should he be?
I don't know. But you would know.
The gods have vouchsafed me nothing, told me nothing. They have neither warned me nor promised me anything. And I have foreseen nothing.
Had we have foreseen something?
He's being blinded right now.
We women, we dreamt that you were tied up, that you were bleeding, and you could neither move nor cry out.
It's maybe not his death, but just the fact that he's powerless. That he has no power over what's going to happen.
Can help you.
Maybe.
He didn't help.
Wait! Don't see! Don't see!
I don't see
Okay.
anything. I'm not hearing anything.
She's asking for advice, and he's like, I can tell you anything. Now lick my palm. But yeah, a huge difference between Christian, not sacrifices, but Christian rituals and their rituals. The Christians, you know, a Christian ritual is usually very, it's sacred, it's peaceful, it's quiet, and it's all about submission. Like you're gonna go on your knees, down on your knees, and you don't talk, you don't say anything. It's people. Someone is gonna tell you what God tells you. You know what God's word is, and you're gonna listen and follow. And it's very quiet. It's all about submission. Whereas their rituals, I feel like, it's all about. It's not about violence, but it's about emotions, raw emotions, just expressing themselves as individuals and to show their connections through their happiness and just their just it's angry, you know? It's fierce. You hear Lagertha say her speech and you compare it to a priest saying his prayers. The priest is like, no, very monotone. Yeah, very monotone.
I said it all wrong, sorry.
No emotions, no nothing. And you hear like Lagertha, it's whoa, there's something coming out of there. Like, it's full of emotions. It's intense. I can understand, you know, first time Athelstan saw a sacrifice, his first time
it was with everything, none of each, non-humans too. What a little bit more extreme.
You know, it's a ritual, and the way people are gonna react watching that ritual, that sacrifice, you feel how powerful it is. You feel that there is something happening, but you watch it, and it's so different from what they're used to. For the people that are afraid of these people, that they are afraid of their ways, they might see this as an angry shout, something to be feared. You know, here, like I said, hearing Lagertha, she sounded pissed off. Like but you could say she sounded pissed off, or she sounded fierce. It's something totally different. And whereas we listen to her and we're like, oh, she's badass.
It's drawn to it, yeah.
Yeah, they're listening to her and they feel afraid. They're like, this is barbaric. This is something dangerous.
I can't help having this image of blood being the symbolization of life.
Not for them, though.
And having this image, I can understand why the sacrifice, why they're using blood to bless the earth, for their children to grow to have food and continue on living.
Whereas the Christians are seeing it some other way.
You think about that, that's maybe barbaric, but if you think about the stories of the Bible, we got Moses who God asked him to sacrifice a lamb and put his blood on every doorstep to protect the...
Yeah, but I feel like Christians
heroes.
are good at ignoring some things in the Bible when it pleases them. And just going along with other things in the Bible because it works in their favor, you know? But the way it happens, the way they are rejoiced at the idea of killing an animal, I mean, it's not a lamb, that was a full cow.
If you think about it, when the Christians are doing ceremonial, they eat a symbol of the Christ body and a symbol of the Christ blood. Like
but it's symbolic, that's what I mean.
But the Vikings, the Northmen, literally took the blood as a symbol of life. Like, they're God's blood that they are using, technically.
But I mean, from the way they see this, the Christians, they're seeing Lagertha being bathed in blood, and they see this as something barbaric that they fear. Which means, I mean, some of them, like, I think Egbert, he's fascinated by this, although he seemed a bit, not troubled, but he seemed a bit taken aback by what was going on during this.
Well,
that was a side of her.
Would you be if you saw someone bad in blood?
Well, that's the thing. That was a side of her he had never seen before. And you remember Athelstan, he was shocked, but there was a side of him that was mesmerized by what he was seeing. So these people, their way of thinking could go both ways. Either they're mesmerized by what they're seeing because they feel the intensity and they can understand, like they can read between the lines and they understand why they're doing this. Or they just see the first level, oh my god, she's killing a cow and bathing in its blood, and they are afraid. And this is going to lead to a lot of trouble in the future because they have to live together. And, you know, that king is not going to live forever. As soon as he dies, there's someone else who's going to take his place, and someone that might not
going to be there, and his son doesn't agree.
So, and I mean, you know, and Ragnar and Floki's discussion fits well here because he's saying, oh, I'm doing this not for you, I'm doing this for our children, for the future generations. Yes, makes a lot of sense. If that's why we agreed that fighting for Mercia made sense, because they don't want any bad blood between them before it even starts. Because in the future, if it comes back, it's going to be bad. But then Floki is afraid that in the future surrounded by these Christians and, you know, knowing that their ancestors fought for the Christians, it might lead to conversion, you know, changing religion and becoming one of them. It's something that could happen. And with the nobles saying, oh, I mean, we have to convert them, we have to make them Christians because this is not going to do. They are the power in this place. The king has only so much power because if the nobles are mad at him, he's not going to be king for long.
You know what this conversation reminds me of? Because if we think about the Quebec history, the French-Canadian history,
Yeah.
we were in the same position when we were defeated by the Englishmen. And basically,
people.
the French language survived because the church was really first and asked for the French citizen to continue to go to the church, continue to pray, and be strong. Keep your language, keep your history, keep your culture. Your culture, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Years
we're
later,
still there.
we're still here.
French. We might have both culture nowadays, but we still
actually,
speak French.
Interesting enough, though, we still speak French here, but if you look at how there's a lot of English going around here. People, you know, the older generation is really mad. I mean, I published something on Facebook that was in English, and I remember half of my family freaked out about it. They were like, hey, we live in a French country, you just speak French online. I'm like, yeah, okay, but do you realize that if I start speaking French, there's only so many people who are going to understand me? In order to reach out to people.
There are many people who speak French all over the world.
Yeah, I know, but
just
considering that we live in such a small place surrounded by English, and I mean, there are a lot of tourists and even people that are from here that speak English from the very first day. We receive products that it's written in English everywhere. We watch TV shows that all come from America, United States.
We are really, how can I say it? Influenced by the America's,
that's the thing.
The USA's culture.
And that could be the problem in the future because, like we said in the episode, if they are surrounded by Christians in the future, because right now they are fiercely following their religion, but in the future surrounded by Christians, helped by Christians, speaking to Christians, hearing about their past with the Christians, there's a good chance that eventually their culture and their religion is going to get lost. It's happening here. It was going to happen and there too, you know? And I mean, think about it. There's not that, I mean, I don't even know if there are people still following this religion. So, it's an actual fear, and it's not crazy to think about it. And especially with Ragnar just going along with what they're asking because he doesn't want any more fighting. He's just tired. And having Floki say, you know, this is on you, this is your fault, and then he gets to see that his son's future wife is never going to look the same again. And she was pregnant too, you know. He's attacked by all these emotions. And people are saying, this is your fault because you followed along. And he's like, yeah, but I do this because I don't want any more fighting. But he still has to suffer the consequences for a brighter future. And I feel like Ragnar's way, Athelstan's way, even Egbert way of seeing this is the right way, you know, understanding that there are many religions, not just your own, and you go and say that your religion is the right one, but you don't go and force someone else to say that your religion is the right one, or that his religion is the bad one. Yeah. Athelstan understood that, and he embraced both religions. That's the future, you know, he has both knowledge. He has lived amongst the two cultures. He knows about the history. He's learned about both gods. He's embraced it. And he can carry it on. Whereas if you try to force someone to change religion, well, you force him to forget about his original religion. And you want, it's almost like you want it to go away forever. And it's a closed-minded way to do things. It's a very realistic way, though, to show us this bit of history, because, I mean, people today are still like that. Like, if they don't believe in my God, or if they don't do exactly like I do, I'm going to be mad, and I'm going to reject them.
They're wrong.
Yeah. No one is in the wrong. I mean, there are so many ways to see this, and it's not because you're doing it differently that you are wrong, but close-minded people. Anyway. The way the guy died, I understand. He didn't want to die lying down. I mean, he still felt weak. He looked dead on his feet, so he was probably going to die.
But he kept walking.
I mean, if he was going to die, he was going to die standing and doing something. That was his choice. And Floki, I understand why he was mad. That's his best friend. But to put it all on Ragnar, I'm on Ragnar's side here, saying that they all decided to come. That was their choice. He didn't force anyone.
And I understand you that when you're grieving or when you're angry, you put the blame on the easiest target.
Yeah. And especially these days, Floki has a tendency to blame Ragnar for pretty much everything. So, but that was really sad. All the speeches. This episode was really good, by the way. Like every speech, like even Ragnar losing it because the fear of not only losing family but maybe losing a grandchild because that girl showed up on the battlefield even though she was pregnant, and his son let her do this. It's almost like when Bjorn almost died. First time we saw him in battle, and Ragnar was saying like, Jan, you still have a lot to learn, and some people might take that as, come on, just chill out and say he fought well, but we're like, he was scared of losing his son. Well, there he got scared that he might lose his grandchild, that his family might suffer a loss, and that it might be his fault. So his reaction is to tell his son, you stupid
Man up.
jerk, man up, tell her to stay away from the battlefield. And I agree, because as much as it's cool to see her fight and be like, I'm the strong woman, I'm going to defend my honor, and I'm going to show you that I'm strong.
It's like in season 1 when Lagertha wanted to go to West the first time, and Ragnar said, who's going to take care of the children? You need to stay.
At first, he didn't know what to expect. He didn't know what to expect, so he didn't want her in harm's way. He needed to leave someone at home to take care of the family, and if there was going to be someone, that was going to be her. So there you go.
And when he knows when he has Athelstan, and he trusts him enough to keep his children safe, Lagertha could come.
And he knew what to expect, like he had been there before. Doesn't mean she doesn't have to fight for herself, but she didn't have to defend a baby's life either.
True.
Now that Wanderer, before we finish this conversation, that Wanderer is, there's something. I think it's not a coincidence that right after Lagertha was talking about their gods and saying, our gods live among us, they are just like us, they bleed, they eat, they fuck, they do all that. We see the Wanderer. And then the story you guys told me about how usually a Wanderer like this would be a god trying to test your hospitality. I remember that, but there's also another side to it, because sometimes the god is just there to play with you or something. I don't remember the comment, but there's a lot of unease. What he did with Ivar was really good. Like, I loved it. I'm like, that baby deserved that rest. And I felt like, Aslog was being really open to him. She was really nice. So he did something nice for her. Yeah, and Helga too. But then you've got Siggy, who's really against him. She doubts him, and she goes to talk about him behind his back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe that's why there's bad stuff happening. Or if it's not his fault that the 2 kids died, that's going to lead to unease in the future, because she's so untrustworthy when it comes to this guy that she might put it on it's his fault. He's the one that caused this. So I don't know. I need to see more of him, see if he's going to stay a bit longer or if he's going to do something else. That sure seemed, it was a hell of a coincidence that these 2 kids died so far away from the shore right after he showed up.
How could that happen?
Sometimes you try to bathe in the lake or something and you get, there's no tide there. It's like silent water. I don't see how they could have been pulled away from the shore, but I guess this leads to the ocean, so they could have been stuck in the tide and been swept away by the ocean. I don't know.
Maybe they tried to go and swim and they got tired and they were so little.
But go and swim. It's winter. There's snow around. I'm like,
true. That would
give me a break. We'll have to wait and see. It's weird. We'll get to see in the future what happens. I need to see him do more stuff. But yeah. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. If you want to see the next one right away, it's already on Patreon. The link is in the description.
Yeah, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to watch it now, and if not, wait for the next one to be out on YouTube, guys.
Yes.
So see you then.
Bye.